The night is quiet and the story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so the night always finds you. You step into the small village of Yulin, nestled deep in a valley where mist clings to the hills like a lover's whisper. It's late autumn, and the air carries the sharp bite of coming winter. Your boots crunch on the gravel path as you make your way to the inn, the only place offering shelter for miles. The village is quiet, too quiet, as if the world is holding its breath. Lanterns sway in the breeze, casting flickering shadows that dance across the wooden facades of the houses. You've come here seeking answers, though you're not entirely sure what questions you're chasing. A letter, crumpled and worn, sits heavy in your pocket. It's from your cousin, May, who vanished months ago while visiting this very village. Her last words to you were cryptic, scrawled in haste. The rain knows his voice. Don't trust the silence. You push open the inn's creaky door, and a bell jingles faintly above. The warmth of the hearth greets you, a stark contrast to the chill outside. The innkeeper, an older woman with silver-streaked hair and eyes that seem to see too much, looks up from her ledger. Her name, she tells you, is Madame Wei. Her smile is kind, but there's a weight to it, like she's measuring you against some unseen standard. You ask for a room, and she slides a key across the counter, her fingers lingering on the metal. "Stay clear of the river at night," she says softly, almost as an afterthought. You nod, unsure why her words send a shiver down your spine. Your room is small, with a single window overlooking the village square. You unpack your bag, setting May's letter on the bedside table. Its words haunt you, looping in your mind as you try to piece together what she meant. The rain hasn't started yet, but the sky is heavy with clouds, promising a storm. You decide to explore the village before night falls, hoping to find someone who knew May. The streets are narrow, winding through rows of homes with tiled roofs and faded red lanterns. A few villagers pass by, their eyes darting to you before they hurry along. No one stops to speak, and you feel like an intruder in a place that guards its secrets, closely dot at the edge of the village. You find the river Madame Wei mentioned. It's wide and sluggish, its surface reflecting the gray sky like a mirror. You stand on the bank, watching the water ripple as a soft wind stirs. Something about it feels alive, as if it's watching you back. You shake off the thought, chalking it up to fatigue from your journey. But then you hear it, a faint hum, like a voice carried on the breeze. It's not words, not exactly, but it feels familiar, tugging at a memory you can't place. You lean closer to the water, straining to listen, when a hand grabs your shoulder. You spin around to find a young man, perhaps in his mid-20s, with sharp features and eyes that seem to glow in the dim light. He introduces himself as Lang, a local who tends the village's shrine. His voice is calm, but there's an urgency in the way he pulls you back from the river's edge. "You don't want to linger here," he says, his gaze flicking to the water. "Not when the rain comes." You ask why, but he only shakes his head, his expression unreadable. He offers to walk you back to the inn, and you agree, sensing he knows more than he's letting on. As you walk, Lian tells you about Yulin's history, how the village was built around the river, which the locals call the vein of the valley. It's said to carry the voices of those who've been lost, though he laughs it off as superstition. You mention May. showing him her letter, and his face changes. It's subtle, a tightening of his jaw, but you catch it. He says he knew her, that she stayed at the inn and asked too many questions about the river. Before you can press him further, he stops at the inn's door. "Be careful who you trust," he says, his voice low. "Not everyone here is what they seem." Back in your room, you sit on the bed, the letter in your hands. The hum from the river lingers in your ears, faint but persistent. Outside, the first drops of rain begin to fall, tapping against the window like fingers on glass. You feel a pull, an urge to go back to the river to listen again, but Madame Wei's warning and Lang's cryptic words hold you back. You lie down, the patter of rain growing steadier, and try to sleep. The sound is soothing, but beneath it, you swear you hear something else, a voice calling your name. It's faint, almost lost in the storm, but it's there. You close your eyes, telling yourself it's just your imagination. But deep down, you know this village holds secrets, and May's disappearance is only the beginning. The rain falls harder now, a steady drum against the inn's roof, lulling you into a restless sleep. You dream of May, her face pale and blurred, standing by the river. She's trying to tell you something, her lips moving, but the sound is drowned by the rush of water. You wake with a start, your heart pounding, the room dark except for the faint glow of moonlight through the window. The rain hasn't stopped, and the air feels heavy, charged with something you can't name. You check the time. It's just past midnight. Sleep won't come easily now, so you decide to explore the inn, hoping to find clues about May. You slip into the hallway, your footsteps muffled by the worn wooden floor. The inn is old, its walls lined with faded paintings of the valley, the river winding through them like a silver thread. You pause at one, a depiction of a man standing by the water, his face obscured by mist. The plaque beneath reads "The Listener," but there's no explanation, only a date, 1873. The image unsettles you, though you can't say why. You move on, drawn to the faint sound of voices from downstairs. In the common room, Madame Wei sits by the hearth, knitting in the dim light. She doesn't look surprised to see you, as if she expected you to wander. You ask about May, and she sets her needles down, her eyes softening. She tells you May was curious, always asking about the river and the old stories. She was looking for someone, Madame Wei says, her voice barely above a whisper. A man named Chen. You press for more, but she shakes her head, saying only that Chen was a local who disappeared years ago, long before May arrived. The way she avoids your gaze makes you wonder what she's not saying. You return to your room, the name Chen echoing in your mind. May's letter didn't mention him, but you feel a connection, a thread you need to pull. You rummage through your bag, pulling out the few items May left behind. A jade pendant, a notebook filled with sketches of the river, and a single photograph of her standing by the village shrine. In the background, barely visible, is a figure too blurry to make out. You squint, trying to discern details, but the image is too grainy. Still, something about it feels familiar, like a memory you've forgotten. The rain grows louder, and you move to the window, watching it cascade down the glass. The village is shrouded in mist, the lanterns dimmed to faint specks of light. You're about to turn away when you see it. A figure standing in the square, motionless, facing the inn. Your breath catches. It's too dark to see their face, but they're tall, their silhouettes sharp against the rain. You blink, and they're gone, as if they were never there. Your pulse races, but you tell yourself it's just the storm playing tricks on your eyes. You decide to check May's notebook. Again, flipping through its pages. Her sketches are detailed, almost obsessive, capturing the river from every angle. One drawing stands out, a bridge half collapsed with a figure standing at its edge. Beneath it, in May's handwriting, is a single word, Chen. Your skin prickles. You've seen that bridge just beyond the village when you arrived. It's old, abandoned, its stones crumbling into the river. You make a mental note to visit it tomorrow, but the thought of going alone sends a chill through you. As you set the notebook down, you hear it again, that hum from the river, clearer now, woven into the rain. It's not just a sound. It feels like a call pulling at you, urging you to step outside. You resist, locking the window and drawing the curtains. But the sound doesn't stop. It's in your head now, a voice, soft and insistent, saying your name. You try to focus on May's things, on the pendant, the photo, anything to ground you. The pendant is cool in your hand, its surface carved with a symbol you don't recognize, a swirling pattern like water. You lie back on the bed, clutching the pendant, the rain a constant rhythm outside. Madame Wei's words, Liang's warning, and May's letter swirl in your thoughts. You feel like you're standing at the edge of something vast, a truth you're not ready to face. The voice in the rain grows fainter, but it's still there, waiting. You close your eyes, willing sleep to come, but the village, the river, and the name Chen linger, pulling you deeper into their mystery. Tomorrow you'll find that bridge, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find May. Morning comes slowly, the rain softening to a drizzle that cloaks Yulin in a gray haze. You wake with May's pendant still in your hand, its weight a quiet reminder of why you're here. The voice from last night lingers in your memory, faint, but persistent, like an echo you can't shake. You dress quickly, tucking the pendant and May's notebook into your jacket. Today you're determined to find the bridge from her sketch, to uncover what drew her to it and to this man named Chen. The inn is quiet as you slip downstairs, the hearth cold, and Madame Wei nowhere in sight. You leave a note saying you'll be back by noon and step into the damp air. The village feels different in daylight, though no less guarded. The streets are empty, save for a stray cat darting between houses. You follow the path toward the river, the ground slick beneath your boots. The air smells of wet earth and pine, and the river's hum is softer now, almost soothing. You find the bridge just beyond the village, its broken stones jutting out over the water like the bones of some forgotten beast. It's exactly as May drew it, down to the jagged gap where half the structure has fallen away. You step closer, your heart beating faster, and scan the riverbank for any sign of her. The water is clearer today, reflecting the overcast sky. You kneel by the edge, peering into its depths, and notice something glinting beneath the surface. It's small, metallic, caught between two rocks. You reach in, the cold biting your fingers, and pull out a silver hairpin, its tip carved with the same swirling symbol as May's pendant. Your breath catches. This belonged to her. You're sure of it. You tuck it into your pocket, your mind racing. Did she drop it here? Was she taken? The questions pile up, each one heavier than the last. You stand, wiping your wet hands on your jacket, and notice a faint path leading into the woods beyond the bridge. It's overgrown, barely visible, but it feels like a sign. You follow it, the trees closing in around you, their branches dripping with rain. The path winds deeper, the river's hum growing louder, as if guiding you. You're not sure how long you walk, but the air grows colder, the light dimmer. Just when you think you've lost your way, you stumble into a clearing. At its center is a small shrine, its red paint faded, its roof sagging under the weight of time. You approach, your footsteps muffled by moss. The shrine is dedicated to the river, its altar adorned with offerings, wilted flowers, coins, and a single candle long burned out. You notice a name carved into the wood, Chen. Your pulse quickens. You trace the characters with your finger, feeling the rough grain, and wonder what tied Mei to this place, to this name. The air feels heavy, as if the shrine itself is watching you. You pull out Mei's notebook, flipping to the sketch of the bridge, and find another drawing tucked between the pages, the shrine with a figure kneeling before it. The figure's face is blank, but the posture feels intimate, like a moment. Caught in time, a twig snaps behind you, and you turn to see Liang, his expression unreadable. He's carrying a bundle of incense, clearly here to tend the shrine. "You shouldn't be here," he says, his voice low but not unkind. You show him the hairpin, asking if he recognizes it. His eyes flicker with something, recognition or fear, but he only says it's a common design in the village. You don't believe him. You press him about Chen, about Mei, but he deflects, saying the shrine is old, its story's older. "Some things are better left alone," he adds, lighting the incense. The smoke curls upward, sweet and sharp, mingling with the damp air. You want to argue, but the weight of the clearing, the shrine, the river's hum, it all presses down on you. Liang offers to walk you back, and you agree, sensing he won't say more here. As you leave, you glance back at the shrine, and for a moment, you swear you see a shadow move across its entrance, too quick to be sure. The walk back is silent, the drizzle soaking through your jacket. Liang leaves you at the village's edge, his parting words simple: "Stay away from the shrine at night." You nod, but your mind is already made up. You'll return, hairpin and pendant in hand, to find the truth. Back at the inn, you sit by the window, watching the rain start again. The hairpin rests on the table, its silver catching the light. The river's hum is faint now, but you feel it like a pulse beneath the village. You're closer to Mei, to Chen, to whatever secret binds them. But with every step, you feel the village watching, its silence louder than the rain. The rain picks up again as you sit in your room, the hairpin and pendant laid out before you like pieces of a puzzle. Their matching symbols seem to pulse in the dim light, urging you to connect the dots. You can't shake the image of the shrine, the shadow you thought you saw, or Liang's guarded words. The river's hum is softer now, but it's still there, a constant undercurrent weaving through the village. You decide to talk to Madame Wei again, hoping she'll share more about Chen and Mei's time here. You slip the hairpin into your pocket and head downstairs, the inn's quiet creaks following you. Madame Wei is in the kitchen, stirring a pot of tea that fills the air with a faint jasmine scent. She looks up as you enter, her eyes sharp but not unkind. You sit at the small table, and she pours you a cup without asking. The warmth of the porcelain soothes your hands as you ask about Chen. Her movements slow, and she sets the teapot down. With care. Chen was a poet, she says, her voice soft, like she's reciting a memory. He lived here years ago, loved by many, but he was restless. Always by the river, writing, listening. She pauses, her gaze distant. Then one night he was gone. They said he drowned, but no one ever found him. You show her the hairpin, and her breath catches, just for a moment. She says it's a common design, echoing Liang's words, but her fingers tremble slightly as she hands it back. You ask about Mei, if she ever mentioned Chen. Madame Wei hesitates, then admits Mei was fascinated by the poet's story. She spent hours at the shrine, she says, leaving offerings, sketching. She thought she could find him. Her words hang heavy, and you sense she's holding something back. Before you can press further, a knock at the door interrupts. Madame Wei excuses herself, leaving you with your tea and more questions. You return to your room, flipping through Mei's notebook again. Her sketches of the shrine are meticulous, capturing every crack in the wood, every curve of the offerings. One page has a poem, not in her handwriting, but in a flowing script you don't recognize. The river keeps what it takes, but its voice never lies. You wonder if it's Chen's, copied by Mei in her search. The words feel alive, like they're speaking to you, urging you to listen. You glance out the window, where the rain paints the village in shades of gray. The river is out there, calling, and you feel its pull stronger than ever. You decide to visit the village elder, hoping they know more about Chen's story. Madame Wei mentioned an old woman, Granny Lan, who lives at the edge of Yulin. You bundle up against the rain and head out, following the winding streets to a small house with a sagging roof. Granny Lan greets you at the door, her face a map of wrinkles, her eyes bright with curiosity. She invites you in, offering you a seat by a small fire. The room smells of herbs and old wood, and you feel a strange comfort in her presence. You tell her about Mei, about the hairpin and pendant, about Chen. Granny Lan listens, her hands folded in her lap. When you finish, she leans forward, her voice low. The river has always been special here, she says. It carries voices, memories, things we've lost. Chen knew that. He believed he could speak to it, and it would answer. She looks at you, her gaze piercing. Mei believed it too. She came to me asking about the old rituals, how to call the river's voice. You ask what she means, but Granny Lan only smiles, saying the river chooses who it speaks to. She gives you a small charm, a woven cord with a tiny stone bead, and tells you to keep it close if you go near the river again. You thank her, tucking the charm into your pocket with the hairpin. As you leave, she calls after you. Be careful what you ask the river for. It always answers, but not always as you expect. Her words echo in your mind as you walk back through the rain, the village seeming smaller, more enclosed, like it's folding in on itself. Back at the inn, you sit by the window, watching the river in the distance. The rain is steady now, its rhythm almost hypnotic. You feel the weight of the hairpin, the pendant, the charm, each a piece of something larger. The voice in the rain is there again, faint but clear, calling your name. You're not sure if it's Mei, Chen, or something else entirely, but you know you can't ignore it. Tomorrow, you'll return to the shrine to the river to find the truth. For now you lie down, the rain's song wrapping around you, pulling you into a dream where the river waits. The rain is lighter today, a soft patter that follows you as you leave the inn, your pockets heavy with May's hairpin, pendant, and Granny Land's charm. You're drawn back to the shrine, its pull stronger than ever, like a thread tied to your heart. The village feels quieter, the streets empty, except for the occasional flutter of a curtain as someone watches you pass. You clutch May's notebook, its pages worn from your constant handling, and head toward the river. The air is thick with mist, curling around you like a living thing, and the river's hum grows louder with every step. You take the same overgrown path from yesterday, the trees dripping with last night's rain. The shrine appears through the fog, its faded red walls stark against the green of the forest. You pause at the edge of the clearing, your breath shallow. The air feels different here, heavier, as if time moves slower. You step forward, your boots sinking into the moss, and kneel before the altar. The offerings are fresh today, new flowers and a lit candle, its flame steady despite the damp. You trace the name Chen carved into the wood, its edges worn smooth by years of touch. You pull out the hairpin and pendant, placing them on the altar. The candlelight catches their surfaces, making the swirling symbols glow. You're not sure what you're doing, but Granny Land's words about rituals echo in your mind. You whisper May's name, then Chen's, asking the river to show you what they saw. The hum grows louder, vibrating through the ground, and you feel a chill, not from the cold, but from something deeper. You close your eyes, listening, and the shifts into a voice, soft and melodic, saying your name. It's not May's voice, nor anyone you know, but it feels familiar, like a song you heard as a child. You open your eyes and the candle flickers, though there's no breeze. The air shimmers, and for a moment you see a figure by the altar, translucent, like a reflection in water. It's a man, his features sharp but softened by the mist, his eyes fixed on you. You freeze, your heart pounding, but he doesn't move, only watches. You blink and he's gone, leaving only the scent of rain and something sweeter, like jasmine. You touch the hairpin, grounding yourself, and notice the candle has gone out, its wick blackened. You're alone again, but the voice lingers, whispering fragments of words you can't quite catch. Footsteps crunch behind you, and you turn to see Liang, his face pale, his eyes wide. "You shouldn't have done that," he says, his voice tight. You ask what he means, but he grabs your arm, pulling you away from the shrine. "You called to it," he says, glancing at the river. The river answers, but it doesn't always. "Give what you want." You demand answers, showing him the hairpin and pendant, but he shakes his head, his expression torn. "May did the same thing," he says finally. "She called to him, to Chen, and it changed her." You press him, your voice sharp with frustration. Liang sighs, running a hand through his hair. He tells you Chen wasn't just a poet. He was obsessed with the river, believing it held the voices of the lost. He performed rituals at the shrine, offering pieces of himself, his words, his heart, until one night he vanished. The village says he drowned, but Lang's eyes tell a different story. May thought she could find him, he says. She heard his voice in the rain, just like you're hearing it now. Your stomach twists. You ask if he thinks May's Gone, but Liang only looks away toward the river. He walks you back to the village, the silence between you heavy. You feel the charm in your pocket, its stone bead warm against your fingers. Liang stops at the bridge, the one from May's sketch, and points to the water. If you hear him again, don't answer, he says. Not unless you're ready to lose something. He leaves you there, his words sinking in as the river flows below, its surface rippling like it's alive. You want to dismiss him, to call. It's superstition, but the voice, the figure, the weight of the shrine, they're all too real. Back in your room, you sit with May's notebook, the poem about the river staring back at you. You hear the voice again, faint in the rain, calling your name. It's clearer now, laced with a sadness that pulls at you. You want to go back to the shrine to ask more, to see the figure again, but Liang's warning holds you back. You lie down, the rain a soft lullaby, but sleep feels far away. The river is out there waiting, and you know you're running out of time to find May, to understand what she found in Chen's voice. The rain is a gentle murmur now weaving through your dreams as you wake in the dim light of dawn. The voice from the shrine lingers in your mind, its sadness wrapping around you like mist. You sit up, May's notebook open on the bed, the poem about the river staring back at you. The hairpin, pendant, and Granny Land's charms sit on the table, their presence a quiet challenge. You feel the pull of the river stronger than ever, urging you to return to the shrine, to face whatever May faced. Today you decide you'll go back, but you won't go alone. You need answers, and Liang knows more than he's shared. You find him in the village square, tending to a small cart of herbs and incense. The air smells of damp earth and lavender, and his hands move with practiced ease, though his eyes flicker with unease when he sees you. You tell him about the figure at the shrine, the voice in the rain, and he stiffens, his gaze darting to the river in the distance. You're in too deep, he says, his voice low, just like May. You demand he tell you everything, no more half-truths. He hesitates, then nods, agreeing to meet you at the shrine at dusk. But you have to promise, he says, not to call to the river again, not yet. You spend the day restless, wandering the village, piecing together fragments of May's time here. You visit the bridge again, its broken stones slick with moss. The river flows steadily below, its surface catching the faint sunlight. You kneel, touching the water, and feel a hum vibrate through your fingers. Not just sound, but emotion, longing, and loss. You pull back, clutching Granny Land's charm, its warmth steady in you. The hairpin in your pocket feels heavier, like it's carrying a piece of May's heart. You wonder if she stood here, feeling the same pull, hearing the same voice. As dusk falls, the village glows with the soft light of lanterns, their reflections dancing on the wet streets. You meet Len at the edge of the path to the shrine, his face shadowed by the hood of his coat. The rain has stopped, leaving a stillness that feels fragile, like the calm before a storm. You walk in silence, the forest closing around you, the river's hum a faint pulse in the air. When you reach the shrine, the candle on the altar is lit again, its flame steady. Liang sets down fresh incense, its smoke curling upward, mingling with the mist. He turns to you, his expression softer now, almost vulnerable. Chen wasn't just a poet, he says, his voice barely above a whisper. He loved someone, a woman named Ziyu. She was sick, fading, and he thought the river could save her. He offered everything, his words, his songs, his life. The river took him, but not her. You ask what this has to do with May, and Lang's eyes darken. May found his journal, he says. It was hidden here at the shrine. She read his rituals, his promises to the river. She thought she could bring him back for answers, for closure. You feel a chill, not from the air, but from the weight of his words. You ask where the journal is now, but Liang shakes his head. May had. At last, she wouldn't let it go. He points to the altar, where the hairpin and pendant still lie from your last visit. You hadn't noticed you'd left them, and the sight unsettles you. Liang steps closer, his voice urgent. The river gives, but it takes two. May heard Chen's voice just like you. She followed it, night after night, until she stopped coming back. You kneel by the altar, touching the hairpin, and the voice returns, clearer now, laced with a melody that tugs at your heart. It's Chen, you're sure of it, calling your name, calling May's. You look at Ling, asking if he hears it too. He nods, his face pale. It's stronger when you're here, he says. It wants something from you. You feel the urge to answer, to speak to the voice, but Liang grabs your hand, his grip firm. Don't, he says. Not until you know what you're giving up. You pull away frustrated and step back from the shrine. The voice fades, but the air feels charged, like it's waiting for your next move. Liang watches you, his eyes pleading. Go back to the inn, he says. Think about what you're chasing. Mate didn't, and now she's part of this. You nod, but your mind is racing. You take the hairpin and pendant, leaving the shrine. Behind, the river's hung, following you like a shadow. Back in your room, you sit with May's things, the journal's absence, a gaping hole. The voice is faint now, but it's there, woven into the night. You know you're close to something, to May, to Chen, to the river's truth. But Liang's warning echoes, and you wonder what the river will ask of you, and what you're willing to give. The night wraps around you, the village silent, except for the faint drip of water from the eaves. You sit on your bed, May's hairpin and pendant in your hands, their symbols glinting in the lamplight. The river's voice is quieter now, a soft that lingers at the edge of your thoughts, but it's there, waiting. Liang's story about Chen and Zhu weighs on you, their love tangled with the river's pull. You can't help but wonder what May gave to hear Chen's voice, and why. She chased it so fiercely. You feel the truth is close, hidden in the shrine, the river, or maybe the journal Liang mentioned. You resolve to find it, no matter the cost. Morning brings a thin mist, cloaking Yulin in a dreamlike haze. You decide to search the village for any trace of May's journal, hoping it holds the key to her disappearance. You start at the inn, checking the common areas, the shelves lined with dusty books and trinkets. Madame Wei is there, sweeping the floor, her movements slow and deliberate. You ask if May left anything behind, a notebook or journal, but she shakes her head, her eyes avoiding yours. She kept to herself, she says, always writing, always by the river. Her words feel rehearsed, and you sense she's guarding something. Just like Lion, you head out, the charm from Granny Land warm in your pocket. The village feels smaller today, its streets closing in as you walk. You stop by the bridge, its broken stones stark against the river's flow. You kneel, searching the banks for anything May might have left, but find only pebbles and driftwood. The river hums, softer now, but it carries that voice, Chen's voice, whispering your name. You close your eyes, trying to focus, and for a moment you see Mei in your mind, standing here, her face lit with determination. The image fades, leaving you with a hollow ache. You decide to revisit Granny Lan, hoping she knows about the journal. Her house is as you left it, the air thick with the scent of herbs. She's tending a small garden, her hands buried in the soil. When you mention the journal, her fingers pause, and she looks at you with those bright, knowing eyes. Mei was searching for something she couldn't have, she says. The river promises answers, but it keeps its own secrets. You ask if she's seen the journal, and she hesitates, then nods. She showed it to me once, old leather-bound, filled with Chen's words. She said she found it near the shrine, hidden in a hollow tree. Your heart leaps. You thank her and hurry toward the shrine, the path familiar now, its twists etched into your memory. The forest is quiet, the mist curling around the trees like ghostly fingers. When you reach the clearing, the shrine stands as always, its candle unlit, its offerings untouched. You circle it, searching for a hollow tree, your hands brushing against bark and moss. After what feels like hours, you find it, a gnarled oak, with a small cavity near its base. You reach inside, your fingers grazing leather, and pull out a worn journal, its pages yellowed but intact. You sit by the shrine, opening the journal with trembling hands. The handwriting is elegant, flowing, unmistakably Chen's. It's filled with poems, musings about the river, and notes about rituals to call its voice. One entry catches your eye. The river takes what you offer, but it gives in return. Ziyu's life for mine, a bargain sealed in rain. Your breath catches. Another page describes a ritual at the shrine, offering a token of love to hear the river's truth. You think of the hairpin, the pendant, their swirling symbols matching the ones in Chen's sketches. The air shifts and you hear footsteps. You turn to see Liang, his face etched with worry. You found it, he says, his voice heavy. You show him the journal, asking why he didn't tell you where it was. He sighs, sitting beside you. I wanted to protect you, he says. Mei, read that journal, followed its rituals, and it consumed her. She offered something to the river, something personal, and it took her. You ask what she offered, but he shakes his head. I don't know, but you're walking the same path. You flip through the journal, finding a page with Mei's handwriting. In the margins, I heard him. He's here in the rain. I have to know why. Your heart aches knowing she was so close, so driven. Liang watches you, his eyes pleading. Leave the journal, he says. Go home. The river doesn't let go easily. But you can't. You pocket the journal, the hairpin, the pendant, and stand, feeling the river's hum grow stronger. You tell Liang you'll be careful, but you need to know what Mei found. As you walk back to the inn, the mist thickens, and the voice in the rain returns clearer, calling you to the river. You know you're close to Mei, to Chen, to the heart of Yulin's secrets. But Ling's warning echoes, and you wonder what the river will ask of you, and if you're ready to pay its price. The night is heavy, the air thick with the scent of rain-soaked earth as you sit in your room, Chen's journal open before you. The pages are a map of his heart, his love for Ziyu, his promises to the river. Mei's notes in the margins are frantic, her words overlapping his as if she was chasing his voice through the ink. You trace the swirling symbol from the hairpin and pendant, now tucked safely in your pocket alongside Granny Land's charm. The river's hum is louder tonight, a melody woven with Chen's voice, calling your name, urging you to the shrine. You know this is it, the moment to face whatever May faced, to find her, to end this. You slip out of the inn. The village is asleep under a starless sky. The rain is a soft drizzle, cool against your skin as you follow the path to the shrine. The forest feels alive, the trees whispering as you pass, their branches brushing your shoulders. The journal is heavy in your hands, its leather warm, as if it's part of you now. You reach the clearing, the shrine glowing faintly in the moonlight. Its candle lit, its flame dancing despite the rain. You kneel before the altar, your heart pounding, and place the hairpin and pendant beside the candle, their symbols catching the light. You open the journal to the ritual Chen described. The one May followed. It calls for an offering, something personal, given freely to the river. You hesitate, the weight of Ling's warnings, Granny Land's cryptic words, and May's absence pressing down on you. But the voice in the rain is clear now, Chen's voice, soft and sorrowful, saying your name, saying May's. You take a breath and speak to the river, your voice steady despite the tremor in your hands. You offer a memory, your favorite moment with May, a summer night laughing under the stars, a piece of your heart you'll never reclaim. The air shifts, the hum rising to a crescendo, and the candle flares, its light blinding. You close your eyes, and when you open them, you see him, Chen, standing by the shrine, his form translucent, his eyes filled with a longing that mirrors your own. He doesn't speak, but you feel his story, his love for you, his bargain with the river. He gave his life to save her, but the river kept him, trapping his voice in its flow. May found him, offered her own memory, a piece of her soul, and now she's bound to the river too, her presence a whisper in its current. You ask where she is, your voice breaking. Chen's form shimmers, and he points to the river, its surface, rippling beyond the trees. You run, the journal clutched to your chest, the rain soaking through your clothes. At the riverbank you see her, May, standing in the water, her figure faint like a reflection. She turns, her eyes meeting yours, and you feel a rush of joy and grief. She's here but not whole, her essence tied to the river's voice. You call to her, wading into the cold water, but she shakes her head, a sad smile on her lips. You found me, she whispers, her voice blending with the rain. But you can't stay. You reach for her, but your hands pass through, the water swallowing her form. The river hums, Chen's voice joining hers, a duet of loss and love. You realize the river doesn't just take, it holds, keeping those who offer themselves. You could stay, offer more, join them, but May's eyes plead with you to leave, to live. You step back, tears mixing with the rain, and clutch the journal, the hairpin, the pendant, the charm. They're all you have left of her, of this place. You return to the shrine, the candle now out, the air still. You place the journal on the altar, a final offering, and whisper a goodbye to May, to Chen. The river's voice fades, a soft lullaby now, releasing you. You walk back to the village, the rain easing, the night quieter than it's ever been. You know you'll leave Yulin tomorrow, carrying May's memory, her loss, and the river's truth. The village feels lighter, As if it's let go of a secret it held too long. Back in your room, you lie down, the silence wrapping around you. The rain is gone, and with it, the voices. You close your eyes, May's smile lingering in your mind, and drift into a dreamless sleep, the river finally at rest. That's tonight's tale. If it stayed with you, like, subscribe, and tap the bell. We'll meet again soon in the dark.